Hey guys, Blake Trevino here, meeting up with some more people. We got
Juan Carlos Ramos.
Yep, we got him. He is working on a pretty cool project here. You want to tell our people about it?
Yeah, so this is actually the USS Lexington's Blue Ghost. They commissioned me to actually do the concept design for the Blue Ghost character that I made and created. We basically got together, put this project together, and now we're actually going to produce a comic coming in January.
Nice, nice. And what do you think? What's the end goal for this? Like, what was the motivation behind this? What do y'all? Is there a reason why you're doing this? What's the fascination with the Blue Ghost?
Fascination with the Blue Ghost. The fact that it's an actual historical reference. So the other part to it is basically the privilege and the homage and the honor to Transformers. The privilege to actually work with a project that has to do with veterans in the military. The story behind the character. I'm basically an 80s guy that infuses everything 80s into my work, and this is kind of like the world of what putting that all together. So that's kind of how this came about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm probably one of the worst Corpus residents. I met someone earlier. I didn't know that. I knew where Selena was buried. I didn't know there was a whole grave thing dedicated to her. I don't know much about. I always found the Lexington kind of boring.
Okay.
I went out there. I'm like, I don't get this. I like this though. I like this, and I think like if I grew up with something like this, I would be more interested in the Lexington.
And that was the other thing too. Yeah, so marketing wise, it was really important for us to say like, how do we capture the full spectrum of audience?
Yeah.
You know, from the youth of today all the way to all our veterans. And so this kind of ties in everybody, that human connection. So again, 80s kind of like spun that off. And again, like you said, you saw this and you're like, wow, this is kind of something I'm into. Same thing, like we're saying, we're looking at the demographic to see like, hey, what age range can we get? And this fills a lot of those.
Yeah, because I grew up. I was born in '83, so I grew up '80s, late '80s, early '90s, and all that stuff. So a lot of this is my childhood. I really like this because, like I said, I mean, I've been on the Lexington. I've tried the Ghost tour, and I'm like, I just don't care. You know, I appreciate the history though. I'm not trying to. I appreciate the history behind it, but to me to spend my money on that or like go see it, I'm like, no. But if I had this as a background, I'm like, okay, yeah, hold up, like this is where this came from. Now I'm a little bit more interested.
So, and then the other thing too is really important for me that we actually tie in a lot of historical reference into the character, because we want to again honor the veterans and of course make it interesting for the new generation, or even bring something new like we've never seen this before. So really the tie-in is basically like, how do we get people grabbed into something that they can actually see, and then more importantly, how do they get even more into to like imagine what this would look like if we would actually transform this. So that's going to play into a lot of our actual book when you actually see it.
And what's the progress? How far are y'all along? Or?
Right now the story has been developed. We're actually already, all the rough draft for the whole preliminary issue 1 is already done. We're in our final edits. We're actually moving into penciling, and of course right after that is coloring, and then we punch it out.
So you're not too far off.
No, we're not far off. Yeah, we're actually right there.
That is a really good picture of that, and I am really impressed.
It will be 32 pages, which is slightly bigger than normal comic books. Hence the name up there. It says Texas Size First Edition.
Now, is it just the first edition that's gonna be that big, or all you're planning on all episodes maybe, or?
My plan, if I have it my way, it's going to be Texas Size from here until we reach the end. So every time you're going to get the bang for your buck, and not only that, but again, more Blue Ghosts, the better for me.
Okay. And you're from San Antonio?
I'm from San Antonio. Yeah. I'm a San Antonio native, but I'm a Texas native. So our book is 100% made in Texas. That's the other thing. It's printed, it's designed, colored, inked, edited, all done 100% in Texas.
Man, that is awesome. I like this, man. Like I said, when she first told me about it, I'm like, well, that sounds all right. But I saw the picture, I'm like, okay, hold up, this is way better. Like, I don't think words could describe it, so I definitely wanted to come get this because this is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead, go for it.
I was going to say, like, again, like, kind of keeping things interesting, like you said, you know, historical reference, when you actually sit in a command center, you actually look at that, we're going to actually have some sequences of that in our actual book, so you can make those connections. Oh, wow. So again, when you're saying, like, hey, this is boring, now when you go there, you're like, whoa, this is where you actually sit in on that one scene that we're doing this.
That part,
So you're basically tying everything in to kind of, again, grab people's attention, and now you want to learn more about it. So
I like the Harbor Bridge in the background, the city building, all that. It's a really good thing.
And there's a secret thing going on around over here, so let y'all figure that part out when you get there. Again,
That's not the new bridge, is it?
No, not the new bridge.
Okay, it's not the new
No,
bridge.
it
that we're
looks like
working.
it's going to be something coming out of the water that they're
possibly,
going to be
yep.
fighting.
Yep.
Let my
So,
imagination.
I like this. This is really good.
Thank you.
Have you met any Corpus Christi comedians or San Antonio comedians even? I'm familiar with a lot of them.
I met one comedian right here.
Right here.
Comedian.
Yep, I like it. So working on getting out. I actually have going out of state. I'm going to do Illinois and Iowa. My goal right now is just hit every 50 state.
Right.
And so I've done Ohio, Indiana, Michigan. So now I'm going back for these other 2 states and just
Nice.
you know,
Yeah,
time to
yeah.
get time off. Like, hey, take a week off. Let's go to a different state and just find a base and just drive for like a week and just see what cities and states I could hit.
That's awesome.
So
I
yeah.
love
Any tips for anyone who wants to try to start off a comic? Because I've always met people like, I have this idea for a book, I have this story, I just don't know what to do with it. Like, what hangups did you come across first, I guess?
I think the biggest challenge is going to be basically first, when you come up with an idea, you have to make sure you kind of create the idea. And if you don't create the idea, somebody else is going to come in and fulfill the project. So you really have to be ready, and more importantly, obviously protect your idea. So that's really, really important. So if you can get past that part and then start developing, then you're good to go. So that'll be the first one. So I'll give that to everybody who is. You obviously, as an artist, you obviously want to hold on to whatever it is that you create.
Absolutely.
And so it's very, very important that you do that.
Yeah, very good advice.
That's really
Any social media, anything you want to plug? We can post up once you have YouTube, have your info.
RamosMecca.com, FangFight.io, and then I'm gonna say Art by Ramos on my Instagram. I mean on my my Facebook, and then Ramos Design 75 for my Instagram.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right.
All right, guys, that wraps up our time here at New Wave Expo. My first experience at a con expo type thing. It's been fun meeting some of the cosplayers, learned some pretty cool stuff. Who knows, maybe got a couple weeks left before Halloween. Maybe I could get some of these tips, apply them to a Halloween costume. We'll see more coming up. Who knows, maybe I'll hit some more of these cons too, guys. But thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all later.